Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted her to come up on the stage and just see for herself. Would you please welcome Ian Bainham's sister, Jenny? You can imagine it was a very emotional night for Jenny, and here to speak on her behalf are some friends of Ian's, and George Richardson, who's going to speak for the friends of Ian Bainham.
It's very effective, that was. Ooh, I can't read a phone. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I'll have to stand sideways on because I can't read my cards. It's my privilege tonight to talk to you about Digby Ian Bainham, whose death following the homophobic attack on himself and Philip here in Trafalgar Square on September the 25th has been a major catalyst for this event. Our grateful thanks go to Mark and everyone who has made this event possible. Although Ian's death generated a great deal of publicity, it's all too apparent we need a renewed determination to end all hate crime, as despite this publicity, we've had the subsequent attack on James Parks in Liverpool, who was also in our thoughts. Our thanks go to the Metropolitan Police for their handling of this attack and their care of Ian's family. Thanks also go to all of the medical teams who took such care of Ian and who we know did everything they could. I'm proud to have had Ian as one of my closest friends. Also on the platform with me are just a few of the many other people who were special to him, and it's a great privilege to have Jenny here with us as well, and Philip, who was with him on the night, is also in the square. I hope that some of what I'm going to say will give you a reason to smile tonight, because in the many conversations I've had with Ian's other friends prior to tonight, the one thing we all have agreed is how much, when we were with him, we all laughed. Ian had grown up from being gay with something almost underground that you kept hidden away, but he never felt the need to hide who he was. I couldn't count the number of times I've been with him in mixed company when he delivered his trademark line, "As a gay man." He was proud and happy with who he was. Ian lived in London almost all his life, except for short spells in York and Brighton for work. His jobs included working for Penguin Books in the boroughs of Lambeth and Southwark. In the 80s, he also had a part-time job with Claim Zone in their shop in Brompton's Bar in Earl's Court. A very neat way to earn money while mixing with friends. Mike McCann remained a good friend from those days. His former partner Adrian was in his life for 21 years and remains a close friend, as does Robert, a much valued friend for over 35 years, and a fellow crossword solver. As with so many others, he came from a generation that had lost many friends to the ravages of AIDS. When another anniversary came round, we would go to church together to remember those we missed. Ian was a traditionalist in that regard. Ian held strong views on right and wrong. Travelling as he often did on the train from Beckenham, he'd make a beeline for anyone with their feet on the seats, because that was wrong. It's no surprise to those who knew him at all that he wouldn't let the homophobic abuse directed at him that night, here in the square, pass without a response. He loved to be out and about in London. Wherever you went with him, you would always meet people he knew. He wasn't a late-night person, but be it helping to keep John Lewis or HMV in business, adding to a stamp collection at Cafe Nero in Old Compton Street, or having a pint in Compton's. Town was where you would find him. A post-bedtime outing would be Saturday night at Ducky. Music was a great interest. The more connected to his youth, the better. With our mutual friend Keith, Saturday morning breakfast was compulsory, and lunch out arranged whenever possible. Eating at Ian's house was never a good option. He couldn't cook. The best you might get was a Ginster's pasty. One memorable night, the frozen strawberry gatto hadn't been defrosted. Putting it in the microwave on full power simply meant pudding was a melted, steaming mess. I'm missing the numerous phone calls that would punctuate my days at home, usually starting at 8 a.m. They were often to alert me to one of his favourite black and white films, scheduled for the afternoon, but I would question how often anyone needed to watch Brief Encounter and No Voyager. I hope I've given you a glimpse of the lovely man we have lost. A life cut short by an act of mindless violence, because he was prepared to stand up for what he was at a time he had so much to look forward to. We will arrange a memorial service at St Anne's, Soho, after his funeral takes place. I hope, as do his family. All his many, many friends will be there for that, as well as being here tonight. Thank you for coming here tonight, for your support and for listening. Ian's sister Jenny has given me the thoughts that she has put on paper about the brother she has lost, and I'm going to close with her words. I just want to say a few words about my brother Digby. If you ask me what he was like, I would say that he was kind and helpful, particularly to those who were less fortunate than himself. He would go out of his way to help people. I'm sorry. I can do. He would go out of his way to help people on and off buses, and would always hold doors open for others and give up his seat. He was always respectful towards others with a strong sense of tradition and values. He was protective towards those he knew and cared about, particularly his mother. His life was full of social occasions which he loved. Any excuse to meet old friends and new acquaintances, giving him the opportunity to display a sharp wit and eloquent use of language. Such a loss for so many of us. It is that dazzling smile and his love of life in London that we will all miss. He knew every tube line and every bus route and could assist anyone anywhere in London. Once when he was visiting me in Australia, I asked him if he would ever consider living here, and he said no. Much as he liked Sydney, nothing could surpass the experience of living in such a vibrant city as London. It is so tragic to think that his life ended so abruptly on the streets of the very city he loved so much. We miss him dreadfully. Thank you very much.